rub the wrong way. The expression rub the wrong way is an idiomatic phrase that means to irritate or annoy someone. The origin of this phrase is not definitively known, but it likely comes from the literal act of rubbing a cat's fur in the wrong direction. Cats typically prefer to be stroked or rubbed in the direction of their fur, as it feels more comfortable for them. If you rub a cat's fur in the opposite direction, it can be irritating and displeasing to the cat. This behavior can elicit a negative response, and the phrase rub the wrong way likely originated from this idea. The expression evolved over time and became a metaphor for situations where something or someone causes irritation or discomfort. It is now commonly used in everyday language to describe actions, comments, or behaviors that provoke annoyance or dissatisfaction. Barking up the wrong tree. The phrase barking up the wrong tree is an idiom that means pursuing a mistaken or misguided course of action or accusing the wrong person. The origin of this expression can be traced back to hunting and the behavior of dogs. In the practice of hunting, particularly in the United States in the 19th century, dogs were often used to track and tree raccoons, squirrels, or other animals. When a dog located its prey in a tree, it would bark at the base of the tree to alert the hunters. However, sometimes the prey would move to another tree while the dog continued barking at the initial tree. Hunters who misunderstood which tree the dog was barking at might waste time and effort at the wrong location. The phrase barking up the wrong tree emerged as a metaphor for making a mistake or pursuing a false lead. Over time, the expression moved beyond its literal hunting context and became a common idiom used in everyday language to convey the idea of making an error in judgment or accusing the wrong person or thing. Paint the town red. The origin of the phrase paint the town red can be traced back to the 19th century, and it is associated with an incident in the town of Melton Mowbray in Leicestershire, England. The story goes that in 1837, the Marquis of Waterford, a young aristocrat, and his friends engaged in a night of heavy drinking and mischief in Melton Mowbray. This spree included painting doors, a toll gate, and various other structures in the town with red paint. The term paint the town red is believed to have originated from this event, symbolizing a wild and lively night of celebration and revelry. While the specific historical accuracy of this story is debated, the phrase eventually gained popularity and became a colorful idiom used to describe a night of uninhibited partying and celebration. Today, paint the town red is a common expression for going out and having a good time, often involving lively social activities and entertainment. Bury the hatchet. The phrase bury the hatchet is an idiom that means to make peace, reconcile, or end a conflict. The origin of this expression can be traced back to Native American traditions, specifically those of various indigenous tribes in North America. In some Native American cultures, when two warring parties decided to make peace, they would literally bury their weapons, including tomahawks or war hatchets, as a symbolic gesture of putting an end to hostilities. The act of burying the hatchet represented a commitment to resolving differences and avoiding further conflict. The phrase entered the English language through interactions between Native American tribes and European settlers who adopted and incorporated certain Native American customs and expressions into their own language. Today, bury the hatchet is a widely used idiom that conveys the idea of resolving disputes, reconciling differences, and moving past conflicts. It has become a metaphorical expression for ending hostilities and working towards peace. Cold feet. The expression cold feet is commonly used to describe a sudden loss of courage or nervousness, especially before a significant event or undertaking such as a wedding, performance, or important decision. The origin of this phrase is not entirely clear, but there are a few theories. One theory suggests that cold feet may have originated in the context of military slang. Soldiers marching in wet and cold conditions could suffer from a condition called trench foot, which is caused by prolonged exposure to damp and unsanitary conditions. Trench foot can lead to numbness and a feeling of coldness in the feet. Soldiers experiencing these symptoms might be hesitant or reluctant to move forward, and the term cold feet came to be associated with a lack of courage or hesitation. Another theory points to the idea that cold feet might have originated in the world of theatre. Actors, waiting in the wings before going on stage, could experience nervousness and a feeling of coldness in their feet. While the exact origin remains uncertain, the expression cold feet has become a widely recognized idiom in the English language, referring to a sudden loss of nerve or confidence. Show your true colors. The phrase, show your true colors, has nautical origins and is related to the flags or colors that ships used to display to identify themselves. In naval warfare, ships would hoist flags, which were often colorful, to signal their nationality or allegiance. However, during times of deceit or trickery, a ship might fly a false flag to disguise its true identity and intentions. Therefore, asking someone to show their true colors originally meant asking them to reveal their actual identity or intentions, especially if there were suspicions of deceit or hidden motives. Over time, the phrase has evolved and taken on a broader meaning. Today, when someone is urged to show their true colors, it generally means revealing their real character, intentions, or nature, often in the context of exposing someone's true motives or behavior. Put a sock in it. The phrase, put a sock in it, is a colloquial expression used to tell someone to be quiet or stop talking. The origin of this saying is thought to be rooted in early phonograph or gramophone technology. In the early 20th century, sound amplification was not as advanced as it is today, and early phonographs and gramophones relied on large, horn-shaped speakers to amplify sound. These devices didn't have volume controls like modern speakers, so to reduce the volume, people would literally put a sock or cloth in the horn to muffle the sound. The phrase, put a sock in it, likely emerged as a way of telling someone to lower their voice or stop making noise, drawing on the association with muffling sound in early sound reproduction technology. Over time, the expression transitioned into a more general directive to be quiet or stop talking in various contexts. Steal your thunder. The phrase, steal your thunder, is an idiom that means to take credit for someone else's idea or to diminish the impact of someone's achievement by doing something similar first. The origin of this saying is attributed to a historical incident involving the playwright John Dennis in the early 18th century. John Dennis had invented a new method of simulating the sound of thunder for use in his theatrical productions. He used a large drum to create the sound, and this innovation was featured in his play Appius and Virginia, which premiered in 1709. Unfortunately for Dennis, the play was not successful. Shortly after the debut of Appius and Virginia, a rival playwright named Henry Fielding used a similar thunder-making technique in his own play, The Author's Farce, which premiered in 1730. Fielding's play became a success, and it was perceived by many that he had stolen Dennis's thunder by using the same theatrical effect to greater acclaim. While the phrase's origin is often linked to this specific incident, it has since evolved into a broader idiom used in various contexts to describe someone taking credit for or overshadowing another person's idea or achievement. Spill the beans. The phrase "spill the beans" is an idiom that means to disclose a secret or reveal confidential information. The exact origin of this saying is uncertain, but there are a few theories. One theory suggests that the expression comes from an ancient voting system used in Greece. Beans were used to cast votes, and a container called a kypsele was used to collect the beans. If the container was accidentally knocked over, the beans would spill, revealing the secret votes and potentially influencing the outcome. Another theory ties the phrase to a voting system used by various secret societies. Members would cast their votes by placing different colored beans into a container. If someone accidentally knocked over the container, the colored beans would be spilled, exposing the members' votes and their secrets. While these theories are interesting, they lack concrete historical evidence. The true origin of "spill the beans" remains somewhat elusive, but the phrase has become a common and widely used idiom in the English language. Rule of thumb. The origin of the phrase "rule of thumb" is not entirely clear, and there are several theories about its derivation. The most common explanation suggests that it comes from an Old English law that allowed a man to beat his wife with a stick, as long as it was no thicker than his thumb. However, this explanation is not supported by historical evidence, and it is likely a myth. A more plausible explanation is that rule of thumb originated from various trades and crafts where a rough measurement was made using the thumb. For example, carpenters might use their thumbs to estimate an inch, and brewers might use their thumbs to gauge the temperature of a brewing mixture. This practical and informal method of measurement gave rise to the phrase "rule of thumb." Over time, the expression evolved into a more general idiom referring to a practical, common-sense guideline or rule that is not precisely accurate, but is useful for quick estimation or approximation.